WWE Smackdown starts off with a promo segment, starts off with Jey Uso mentioning Money in the Bank. Then LA Knight, he comes out, so it's just him and Jey Uso. Then LA Knight mentions how Jey Uso is the favorite in this year's Money in the Bank, how he was favorite last year. Mentions Jey Uso leaving the bloodline, being his own man, and how much he respects him. But he says that once the bell rings in Money in the Bank, there will be no respect. Then Jey Uso, him and LA Knight have a stare down, and Jey Uso says yeet. LA Knight says yeah. Then Jey Uso says yeet. Then someone else come out. Thank God someone comes out, because I was like, they been not finna have a catchphrase going back and forth, because I was finna be so mad if they went back and forth just saying their catchphrases. They go back. So if someone else comes out, if I'm not mistaken, yeah, someone else comes out. I think it was Chad Gable. Chad Gable comes out. No, it was Mello. My fault. Carmelo Hayes ends up coming out. He says a couple words. Then Chad Gable comes out. They do the typical thing where it's a multi-man match. Each member of the match comes out interrupting each person after another. So each person kept interrupting each other. Chad Gable gets on the microphone. He mentions his attack by the White Six. He mentions his family because the crowd was booing him, mentioning that he shouldn't be the one getting booed after the things he's been through. Andrade comes out, says a couple words. Then Drew McIntyre comes out. Drew McIntyre comes out. Then you get CM Punk chants, of course. CM Punk chants keep on coming. He ends up responding very well to the CM Punk chant. He ends up saying that he's not here, but his family is, showing the bracelet that he got from CM Punk. That was a very good comeback. Great heel work. Then he gets in the ring. Everyone else, all the other participants of the Money Bank ladder match were in the ring, and he goes one by one, kind of just roasting each person. He goes by Andrade, calls him El Idiot. Then he ends up just going to Chad Gable. He didn't even insult Chad. He just says he feels sorry for him. Chad Gable was like, "Thank you, I appreciate that." Then he goes to Mello. He said a very good line to Mello. He was like, "Mello, you have a bright future, but you are not him because you're looking up at him," referring to himself. That was a very good line. Then to LA Knight, he just ends up saying no in a response to his yeah catchphrase. Then he went to Jey Uso. He goes to Jey Uso and immediately says, "How did you get how did you get across the border?" That was a very sick line. Oh, I love that. They have a stare down. Then it just randomly starts in a brawl. I don't know who started the brawl. I think it was Andrade or Carmelo Hayes. I think Carmelo Hayes may have pushed LA Knight, and then that started a brawl. But everyone starts brawling. Then we get to the final three, where it's just Drew, Jey Uso, and LA Knight. And Jey Uso and LA Knight just double team Drew McIntyre, and they are the last two baby faces standing in the ring. And that's the end of the segment there. I typically don't like segments like this because I think it's very lazy. Just to have everyone brawl for no reason, and they do this later on too, which I also felt like was even more lazier than this. This one was better executed, but the other one that they did later in the show was just pure laziness. Next, get a quick segment with Bayley. She's getting interviewed by Piper Niven, not Piper Niven. She's getting interviewed. Piper Niven then attacked Bayley. After Chelsea Green was mentioning some words, Chelsea Green was talking about how she was going to be the new Miss Money in the Bank. Piper Niven ends up attacking her, and then Chelsea Green says a couple more words, and that's the end of that segment there. This is giving my hopes up. This is getting my hopes up of Chelsea Green being Money in the Bank winner. I hope that happens. I'm hoping, I'm hoping that happens. I really hope so, because I think you could do a lot with Chelsea Green with Money in the Bank, but this was a cool, quick segment. Nothing too special here. Next, we'll get the Street Profits versus Pretty Deadly. This is building on their issues from last week with Pretty Deadly interrupting, their meeting with Nick Aldis. So the Street Profits asked for a match on this week's show to face Pretty Deadly. Street Profits picks up the victory here. This was a decent match. Nothing too special here. Next, we get Austin Theory, Grayson Waller. They're having a conversation because they have a tag team match coming up in the main event. Austin Theory is questioning Grayson Waller. He's like, "Look, what Johnny Gargano was saying is starting to, speak to me, and I'm wondering what he's saying was true." Grayson Waller is playing it off, kind of manipulating Austin Theory. He's like, "Look, he's just trying to put us against each other. He's lying. He just wants our tag team titles." Austin Theory's not buying it. He keeps on questioning Grayson Waller. He's like, "Are we on the same page?" Grayson Waller ends up, manipulating him, ends up saying that, "Look, he ends up mentioning how they won the tag team titles. Did you win those with Gargano?" He was mentioning how, how you became all Austin Theory's accomplishments, and how that he's been through it with Austin Theory that Johnny Gargano has not. And then he kind of gets Austin Theory to be back on his side to focus on his match, and then later on they would have a match against DIY for the WWE World Tag Team titles. Next, Get a quick match. I'm not going to speak too much on this match. Indy Hartwell versus Candice LeRae versus Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill. We already know how this match goes. Indy and Candice get a little bit of offense with a little bit of shenanigans, but we all know Jade and Bianca prevail. This is like their 8th time facing each other, because I'm including also times where they probably faced them in singles matches. But man, I do not want to see these two face each other again. Mainly because we know how this match is going to end. After the match, they cut a promo basically saying they're coming for those tag team titles, so they're going to eventually try to get the rematch with Alba Fire and Ale Don, so we'll see how that plays out. But yeah, I do not want to see Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell face Bianca and Jade no more. I understand they don't have tag teams in the tag team division, but please, give them another opponent. Like, please, someone else, make up a tag team for all I care, but please, stop giving them Indy Hartwell and Candice LeRae. The amount of times we have seen this match, like, come on, please, like, give them a new tag team to face. Next, we get Cody Rhodes, KO, and Randy Orton. They come out to the ring. KO and Cody Rhodes basically talk about the bloodline, talk about, their issues with the bloodline, how they want to put an end to it, basically. But then Kevin Owens, he comes, cuts a passionate promo, and he starts mentioning his mom. He mentioning for the past few days his mom has been in the hospital and that she's been struggling. Then he starts mentioning that his mom, how he's on Smackdown and how he could have just stayed in the hospital to, help his mom beat her for his mom. But he says that would be a problem because the person that would want me in the arena the most would be his mom. His mom wouldn't want that. His mom would want him fighting, being there on Smackdown. Then he starts mentioning, how his mom always wanted him to chase his dream, always do what he wants to do in the ring, and that's he's going to stick by his word, and he's going to stay by his word by defending, staying by Cody and Randy Orton's side to defeat the bloodline. This was a good promo. Well, mainly Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens saved this promo because this promo was the most filler promo you could ever get outside of Kevin Owens. If it wasn't for Kevin Owens, this promo would have just been so, not bad, but just so mediocre from the likes of like Randy or Kevin and Cody Rhodes. But Kevin Owens definitely made this segment a lot better. He could very, very deep, passionate promo. Now we get Bayley versus Piper Niven. This match got created by Bayley because she didn't like getting attacked by Piper earlier in the show. We mainly get towards the end where all the participants of the Money in the Bank ladder match for the women are all there watching this match, which is very weird because I don't know why. It doesn't make sense. But you got Naomi. She's talking to Chelsea Green. They're going back and forth. She ends up attacking Chelsea Green. Then after this, Io Sky then attacks Naomi for whatever reason. It makes no sense for Io Sky. This is where I say it gets a little lazy. You get Io Sky that's watching the match, then decides to attack Naomi. Then you get Zoe Stark comes in the ring and tries to attack, Io Sky. Then you get Lyra Valkyria stopping Zoe Stark to attack Zoe. Then you got Tiffany trying to find Io. It's like everybody's just fighting each other for no reason. At least with the men's side, there's history between some of them. Like Melo has history with LA Knight. So I think Melo started the first initial attack with pushing LA Knight. That makes sense. You know what I'm saying? Like, it makes sense why some of the men want to fight, like Jey Uso and Drew McIntyre. They have issues. It makes sense for them to fight. But why is Io Sky concerned with Naomi? She has no issues with Naomi. It makes no sense for them to fight. Same thing. Zoe Stark has no issue with Lyra, Io. She has no issue with none of these women. Why are they all there watching the match? They have no problems with each other. It makes no sense for them to all be there watching Bayley versus Piper. That makes no sense. This was just lazy. At least with the men, you at least have them cut a promo. That way, one of them could say something to each other to get mad to start the brawl. This was just random. This was just random and way too forced. During all the distractions, Bayley ends up picking up the victory. After the match, you get Nia Jax. She comes from behind, attacks Bayley. She's about to hit the Annihilator, but Michin comes out of nowhere, attacks Nia Jax on the ropes with kendo sticks and run her outside the ring. Michin saved this segment because this segment was just stupid. Makes no sense for all the women to attack each other, in my opinion. Just made no sense. But yeah, this was just a dumb segment. Michin saved this segment. Now, it makes sense. Nia Jax and Michin have issues. They've been building up. That makes sense. But everyone else attacking each other just didn't make no sense. Now we get the main event. DIY versus Austin Theory and Grayson Waller. This was a really good match. I was not feeling this match for like the first 10 minutes, but later on it got really good. Towards the end though, DIY got the upper hand. They hit me, meet me in the middle on Grayson Waller. I think Johnny Gargano ends up pinning Grayson Waller, but then Austin Theory ends up putting Grayson Waller's leg on the ropes, which caused the rope break. Then we get Johnny Gargano. He ends up putting Grayson Waller in a crossface. Grayson Waller is about to tap out, but then Austin Theory ends up stopping Grayson Waller from tapping out, holding his hand. Then Tommaso Ciampa comes out of nowhere, comes from behind Austin Theory, puts him in a crossface. They're both in a crossface submission, and Grayson Waller taps out, and DIY are now your new WWE World Tag Team Champions. I love this. This was great. I love that the title switch hands. I love this. I hope they give DIY more of a storyline than they were giving Austin Theory and Grayson Waller. This was great. The way the match ended was great. And I heard that this is the same arena that they won the NXT tag team titles, kind of repeating history. So it was a good story there. I love what they're doing here. That was a great moment. I can't wait for the run. Now we get to the last segment. Solo Sikoa has a vignette, a bloodline segment. He ends up mentioning, he finally reveals his true intentions. He ends up saying that now he is now the tribal chief. Now since he got the I don't know what it's called, but the red necklace that Roman wears to acknowledge that he's the tribal chief. Solo says that he has it now, that he's the new tribal chief. He said he didn't want to be it, but it's what his family needed. He ends up saying that Roman wasn't man enough to defend our title at Mania. He wasn't man enough to defend our legacy. So he should no longer call himself the tribal chief. And he ends up saying that I am going to take that WWE Championship back into our family. And if Roman wants the WWE Championship back, he would have to take it from me. This was great. This is amazing. This is making it clear that Roman and Solo, they have actual beef, that Solo actually has issues with Roman, and Solo, he wants all the smoke. He wants all the smoke, and I'm ready for it. This basically kind of confirms that Cody and Solo is probably going to have a match at SummerSlam, or at least going to tease a match at SummerSlam with Roman either coming before SummerSlam or after. But this is basically confirming that Roman is coming by SummerSlam, which I'm all here for. I'm excited. This is great. But you guys let me know what you guys thought of this episode of Friday Night Smackdown. This was a very mediocre show, if we're being honest. It was really just the main event and the Bloodline segment that really saved the show. Everything else was just filler, which I expect, but Triple H, you gotta do better with these shows. The amount of filler that you keep having on these SmackDown Go Home shows are kind of ridiculous. Monday Night Raw was a lot better, but this, come on, you could have done a lot better. But yeah, this show was very mid for me, but the main event and the Bloodline segment was really good. But you guys let me know what you guys thought of this episode of SmackDown. Leave your opinions down below. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. But yeah, that's it.